Pro Tour Aether Revolt team organization testing coming up 2 months in Dublin, Ireland, 6 weeks, and travel. Welcome back. Much love, Trav here. Very first thing, if you are queued for Pro Tour Aether Revolt or have a friend who is queued, talk to me or have them talk to me. If they're not part of an exclusive team, or even if they are part of an exclusive team, it is in mutual best interest to do that. So in this video, we're going to talk about team organization. This is obviously going to be helpful for people who go on to qualify for the Pro Tour or qualified, but also will be helpful. It's probably will also be entertaining. And at the end, I'll talk about my travel if you're in Europe and want to meet how that might work. So yeah, I did well at the last Pro Tour. I went 12-4, which is usually good enough for a top 8 record. And the strategy there was to have a different version than what the super teams are doing. So you should be aware that basically you have these 20-person closed off teams, 12 to 20 of many of the best pros. You have Channel Fireball, you have the Pantheon, you'll have Star City or TCG Player, MTG Mint card, East-West Bowl, there's a bunch of them. And the teams generally do pretty well because you have so many good players collaborating. They generally have a pretty big edge for that reason. However, sometimes they get inbred, sometimes they get things wrong, everyone plays the wrong deck. In Standard, everyone plays the wrong Limited, so it's foolproof. It's often hit or miss. They put a bunch of people up or nobody. That's often how it goes. So what's interesting, and this is the key here, is a lot of people, when they make it to the Pro Tour, get onto this second tier team that is also exclusive and closed off and doesn't communicate with anyone. In Magic, we say never play a worse version of an existing deck, and I would say don't have a worse version of an existing team. Do you think if there's 10 of you and none of you are mainstay pros that you're positioning yourself to beat a 20-person team of pros? I don't think so if you're exclusive. I think a better way is to have a different team strategy where you talk to a bunch of people and are more free-flowing of information. And I think this is really important because there's a much greater danger of being on the wrong level, having a deck that's not refined enough, or having the wrong read on the metagame, than the danger is of breaking it and everyone knows what you're playing. No one's going to know what you're playing. No one cares. Most of the time you can show your list to people and they're thankful, but they're not going to play your deck. They're not going to share it with anyone. They don't have that many people to share it with. Or even if it leaks big time, like 40 players know about it, then only 10% of the field knows. And even if they know, how is that really much of a disadvantage? It's not much. So it's a much scarier to just be on the wrong level with the suboptimal deck. So how do we do that? Talk to lots of people. The way that I went 12-4 at Pro Tour Hawaii, and we had a guy on our deck go 8-2 and constructed, and another guy on one of the other teams go 8-2. Thorns all up in me. Sorry for the interruption here. 12-4. So we had worked with the mastermind, a lot of unqualified people working on stuff for the first Star City and the first Limited GP. And then from there, I had a small group of guys, Gary Wong, Zach Elsick, who's the bridge player. And I was also sharing info with Robert Santana. I was sending a list to him without him necessarily reciprocating because that's whatever. Eventually he sent lists and we exchanged, and one of our guys went 8-2, one of his guys went 8-2, and we were both playing the same, roughly, not the same, blue-red control, different variants of it, them with black, us with white. Also, when we got in, we met up with a French team. One of those guys picked up the deck and was one of the 8-2 players. And we met up with another team, Dan Ward, and a bunch of good players. I just walked in with the deck face up. Here's what we're working on. No one's secretive. No one cares. It's whatever. Everyone just wants information. If I was in the corner hiding, then sure, it would have been a problem. But if you just have, here's what's in your gauntlet is very important. What is in your gauntlet? What do you think the metagame is going to be? And you can share that. You should share that with people even on non-exclusive teams, I think. You don't necessarily have to share your exact list, but I think it really can't hurt, right? So if you do this and you're able to work with more than 20 people, if you're able to work with 30 people, you have an advantage over the super teams, right? Because you have more gauntlets to work with, etc. And some people will come around your deck and invest in it and make it better. So that is my game plan. I'm going to stay with a small group of French and Italian players. One of them was that guy. And we're going to be there for the week, and we're going to try to meet up with 3 to 4 other small teams and work in the internet with some other people. And even if those teams think they're going to be locked up and exclusive, I'm going to try to meet with them anyways and just share more than I receive, because it's in our benefit to do that. So that's the strat. Again, if you're queued, hit me up. If you have a friend who's queued, hit me up and we'll get you in on it. You can most likely, almost certainly, come to our testing setup in Ireland, which we're setting up right now. And now we're going to move to the second part, which is travel plans. And this is interesting. It'll help some of you guys who are new to the Pro Tour, some of you guys who, I'm just going to turn around and walk back as well, some of y'all who want to play in the Pro Tour, or some of you just want to know how the travel works. So I qualified for this Pro Tour through, if you get top 25 at a Pro Tour, they give you a flight to the next one. However, it turns out the flight is only a $900 budget, which is a lot, and I'm happy for that. But I live in a pretty remote place over in Humboldt, and flights are expensive. It's like $900 if I were to try to fly to Seattle today. I'm riding up to Seattle today, actually, but it's fucking expensive. So the only flight they were able to get me is San Francisco. I need to get, which is a 5-hour drive from here, or a $200 flight. San Francisco to Dublin, and then Dublin to San Francisco in 30 days. I would have stayed more, but it gets more expensive after 30 days. So I'm going to be flying back February 27. First of all, I'm getting in the Saturday before. I'm leaving on the Friday. I didn't want to leave earlier because my teammates are not getting in earlier. And I didn't want to play in GP San Jose because I don't want to make myself sick with extra travel and extra tournaments right before the most important tournament. So I don't want to get in there too late either, because time zone adjustment is going to be a bitch, because I'm going to be flying red eye overnight, 10 hours direct from San Fran. So that's going to be rough. Anyways, afterwards, I really wanted to stick around and play in RPTQ Barcelona, GP Barcelona. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. If I don't do well in Ireland, then I will play in RPTQ Santa Clara at Channel Fireball Game Center March 4th and 5th. Or I might play it online. There's a chance I'll play in GP Utrecht, which is 2-3 weeks after the Pro Tour. I will keep an update on that. I think that would be cool, because one of my missions is just to meet a bunch of people. So stay tuned on that. And also, yeah, another thing you could have done, a lot of pros are going into Prague the week before the Pro Tour, because there's a Grand Prix there, and that lets them sleep in the new time zone and get some new experience with the limited, which is not a bad idea. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that plan because of the grind involved, but it's not a terrible call by any means. Solid call. And that's it. We'll see how things go. I'm not gonna be sharing publicly everything we're working on, but I am gonna be sharing it, especially at the ground floor, with people who are interested. Does that mean that I'm a leaky person that you shouldn't give your list to? That's for you to decide. I think that you'll gain more from exchanging info with me, and I also think that a basic rule of sharing generalities with things people have shared with you, but not sharing lists more than 1 degree without permission, is a good bet. But you should be able to share generally, like what the metagame is, what the gauntlet is, and what a preferred strategy is. You should be able to share that with anyone, my opinion, in exchange for them sharing that. It's just so mutually beneficial. Teamwork, baby. So that's the game plan. Right now I have maybe a dozen people to talk to, and I'm sure that will increase, because a lot of what happened last time just came together at the last minute. There was even, actually, if you still made it, stuck around to the end, there was a guy who hit me up on Twitter the day before the tournament and said he was looking for testing at his first pro tour and had heard about me on Reddit. Most people would ignore this person, but I picked up the phone. No, I said, DM me your phone number. And then I called him and I said, hey, we're playing this. And he said, I'm playing this. And I said, do you want to play what we're playing? He said, nah, these are the only cards I brought. I said, we think this is going to be the metagame. He said, I think this is going to be the metagame. Thank you, that was helpful for us both. Click, hang up, right? There's no leaking because he was playing Golgari. No one really cares. Guys, there's a guy playing Golgari. He said on the phone, we got him, right? And he has no one to talk to, so it's not a big deal. And then we crushed it with Blue Red Control, and I'm here, so we're gonna run it back. We'll see how it is. Thank you all, much love. And once more, if you're cute or you know someone who's cute, show them this video, watch this video, and have them hit me up. If that's agreeable, it's gonna benefit everyone involved. Take action, magic for good. Magic for good, baby. Speak with y'all soon. Bam.